six, five, four, three, two, one, and here we go. So this is the team finals, and it's starting right now. Actually it already started. Yeah, there is many teams over here, and I actually what is the puzzle? What is the puzzle that we're having now? Is it a published one? So far we don't really have the puzzle nearby or the image of the puzzle, but there's no need to worry. Soon enough you'll be able to see it. It's very colorful. It's very detailed, and it looks like well, it's very colorful, and it seems like it's like how do you call it, candy town type of thing. There's different kind of biscuits over there, muffins, and all sorts of all the good stuff. All right, we're gonna now soon enough we're gonna see the puzzle. Here it is. Soon we're gonna have a more stable picture of that one, but this will work for now. As you can see, it's very detailed. It's just a bunch of different kind of sweets and so on. It seems like something that can be uh, shared between a team. At least I believe so. Um, so working the sections, different colors. Uh, One of the things that stands out, at least from the way that I see it, is the chocolate building in the middle. Um, think if the communication between the team and splitting it in a way that would make sense, then this should go really fast. Um, would assume that perhaps it will be done around 30 to 40 minutes. At least this is my guess right now. If anyone got their own guess on the winning time, then please share it in the chat. I always wondered how good it is to utilize the trays for this type of competition. Is it if the utilization of the trays we can speed up things, or just having a good way to handle the space management over the table is the way to go. Um, I think this is I guess it really depends on how each individual of the team is able to function with the trays, but uh, I think it might be something that can be a disadvantage in a certain point, since the trace is covering quite a lot of space over the table, and it may cover other pieces that might be relevant for the to assemble the puzzle, basically. So, in some sense, I see it that it might be better without trace, but what do I know? Maybe the 30 minutes was a little bit too optimistic, but perhaps the 40 to 50. 40 to 50 would be something that more realistic. Hmm. And one of the things that I find it really nice that there is different kind of um, representations from different countries. For example, there is guests from Sweden, Polish, Norway, Italy, German, Spain, and there is a few more. So it's always nice to see that in a competition where, well, basically other countries are also representative of other countries are also interested in coming and just participate and have fun. Because after all, I think that this is one of the most important most important parts of this is just to have fun and while trying your best, of course. There is a certain limitation limit of how much you can put in the fun and then the competitive mode. Yeah, the puzzle is called Sweet Street. It's a thousand piece puzzle. As well, in every team's competition, it is the way to go. It's the thousand pieces, and yeah. So I can also type it in the chat so everyone can actually have access to that. No problem. And yeah, any kind of question is always welcomed. I encourage you to send away some questions. I cannot promise that I will be able to answer it, but I will certainly do my best. And from here, from the commentary station, it seems like Table 1 is doing really, really great progress. They finished up pretty much the top, and currently i- splitting up the task that two of the team members, Emilia and Rina, um, which took the second placement in the pairs final, is working on the top, while Emilia and Netta are working on the bottom and working on, towards the way up. So I guess the way that it will work is that they will connect between the from top to bottom, something like that. It's quite interesting. Don't, from what I can see also from here, that not everyone is doing the same kind of strategy. I think that basically they are focusing in a way that each team member is working on a certain detail within the puzzle, and then they just put the puzzle island in and little by little assembling the puzzle. Another good thing that I think it's very refreshing is that whenever a certain team member is stuck on a certain or wants to freshen up during the assembly of the puzzle, then they're just changing the position. So I've seen multiple times now that, for example, Emilia and uh, Neta are changing positions, or Emilia and Rina. There's too many Emilias. Yeah, I think it gives a little bit new perspective on the way to assemble this. Nyt minä puhun suomea. Moi kaikille. Tämä on vaikea kisa. Some Finnish into it to all the Finnish speakers. It is very puzzling. It is. I completely agree with that. And we got another one. Kuva Maisan ja Manun Joku. Sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly. Okay, so from what I can see in my speed puzzling, there were 7 teams that actually done it. A team mostly from US. Their times were around between 49 minutes to 55 minutes, or to be more accurate, between 49 minutes and to 1 hour and 29 minutes. So, yep, um, it's gonna be interesting to see uh, the final time. From what I can see, also from the duo or pairs, Victor already done that together with one of his Polish pairs. And the first try for Victor and Natalia was 1 hour and 1 minute. So that's really impressive. I wonder if it will be showing over here right now. Um, yeah, I don't see uh, many people who've done it from Europe, actually. I can see that mostly are from US. And it seems like well, now it makes sense because it was a puzzle that was in the US Nationals in 2024. So, well, that explains it. It seems like Kimo already assembled. Holy moly, Kimo, you're fast. Yeah, it seems like it's most likely gonna be under an hour for the first one to finish. Uh, from the looks of it, the table number one is progressing really, really well. I would say that it will be easily around 35 to 40 minutes. Yeah, it, it is certainly one good tactic, and one of the tactics that probably will work really well is to uh, have it have it split between the team. So each team member will be working on a certain color. That that might speed up some things. And there is a really great advantage over here in the sense that it's very detailed. So it is possible to split between the team members. At least this is from the way that I view it. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely Emilia in the left corner. It's there is actually two Emilias over there. It's double the power of Emilias. And together with the Emilias, there is also Reina and Neta. And I completely agree. The pieces are flying in, and they look. It looks like they got somewhere between 70 to 80 pieces from the way that I can see it. And so we have two finishers. We got one team that is international team, so they won't be marked inside of the. And then we got another team that is the Finnish team. So that team, the Finnish team, is considered as the first one to finish from, and will be counted towards the final results. However, the first team finished at 31 minutes. Yeah. So the first team finished around 31 minutes, the second team around 35 and 19 seconds. And then, yeah, so the role of the judges is basically to go around the tables and stay on alert and see if there is any teams that are close to finishing up. And and then when a certain team finishes up, then they will put the time on the paper. And of course, if there is any kind of troubles along the way, or if there is a missing piece, then they will give a certain way to dictate a certain way to handle this. For example, taking a penalty that for a missing piece, which is a penalty of 10 seconds, and so on and so on. So that's the role of a judge. Uh, we will try to get some comments from the winners. Uh, it's not as easy as it looks to get people to come to discuss about their experience, but yeah, we'll try our best. And another team just finished up. Um, they finished with a time of 42 and 40 seconds. On the top right, we can see the team that finished. They were third place, but on the on the ranking over there, they will be considered as second place. Okay, we got Kiara over here from one of the teams that just finished first place, and they finished with an incredible time of 33 minutes. That was amazing. In my speed puzzling, you'll be considered the first one. Like you will be on the first ranking over there. Are you familiar with this puzzle?
Yes, I have done this puzzle twice actually.
Okay.
It was released last year at the US Nationals for the
Yeah.
pairs finals, and I was there visiting. So, like, I did
Mm.
puzzle there together with Devon, the Canadian champion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Victor has also done it once because we got this puzzle last month at the 24-hour competition in France
Oh wow,
in the
wow.
middle of the night. But we did.
That sounds really tricky. Victor was telling about this marathon
Hmm.
earlier, and how do you puzzle for 24 hours? It's like it's absolutely insane. But
It's just fun.
it,
Well, we did have some breaks
Mm,
for
yeah,
sleeping, but
yeah.
yeah, 4 hours of sleep and then you puzzle. It's kind of what I had tonight too, actually.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I took a flight early this morning, so I woke up at 5 to go to the airport.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. And you just came, did you come from the airport here to
Yes, with
the
a taxi.
competition?
I arrived a minute late in the first round.
No
I
way,
was
just from the
puzzling with
airport.
Frozen. Yes, that's why
Wow.
I was late. There was like an accident on the highway, and so the taxi
Oh,
took a
that's
bit longer than I
unfortunate.
expected. So I was cutting it close, but that was the first flight that I could catch this morning. So I tried it.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, so how do you feel about this dynamic in the team? Do you feel like you managed to split the task evenly and, have some certain of chemistry in the team itself?
I think it worked really well. Yes, especially since we more or less met today, like half of us. So we kind of winged it, but yes, it worked pretty well. We just talked while we were puzzling, and I don't know, we had fun. We were
Yeah,
here to have fun, and we did. So it
this
worked.
is something that I think that is very important to have fun. Because why puzzle if you're not having fun? It's not only about the competition. Yeah, at least
Yeah.
from my perspective. And the other part of that is that I would say that communication, speaking with each other during puzzling, in this type of, for example, in team puzzling or pair puzzling, is fundamental. And I think this is the key to be able to assemble this as fast as possible. Um, at least, again, from my perspective, and I'm like done puzzles for 1 week, so
Well, you've been following along at least a
oh
little bit, right?
yeah, yeah, trying out at least. Yeah, actually, not another team just finished.
Congrats.
Okay, so how do you see the usage of trays in teams? Do you
Hmm.
think that it helps, or do you think it's something that actually disturb more than helps?
I think it can help. I think it takes a while to use trays correctly.
Mhm.
That's the problem because you can lose a lot of time just thinking about how to use trays instead of like using them properly.
Yeah, yeah,
If you don't know what to do, I think it can disturb you and like just makes you lose time because you're very distracted by where is the tray, what am I doing with it, etc. But it can also help a lot. Like if the table is like this table is pretty big, so we
yeah,
actually
yeah.
ended up not using trays at all, I think. But we had enough room to pass each other like the piles of pieces and like just puzzle close to the puzzle. But when the table is small, using trays helps you keep all of the pieces spread out, which otherwise you wouldn't be able to do. And it can be useful if the section the pieces goes to is on the other side
Right.
versus where like you have the pile of pieces. So it can be faster and better to use trays, but you also need to train to use them. So it
Yeah,
takes some
yeah.
time.
Right, right. I the way that I saw the trays is that sometimes it can actually cover some pieces that you needed.
Hmm.
So in that sense, I thought that it might disturb sometimes. And I think that, as you said, correct utilization of the trays, that you know how to use it and
Yeah,
whatsoever is.
the covering like where you place the tray is also important. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
mention it, but that's also a thing. Yes,
yeah,
both like knowing what you're covering, if it's pieces that someone else might need. If you put the tray on the puzzle, knowing whether there are any empty gaps below the tray,
yeah,
or whether like the tray is fine because everything that you're covering like is completely done. that changes a lot, and I think it changes like also teams by teams. There are like people that get better much more by knowing that like there are gaps that are hidden because there's a tray in the way versus
Yeah.
not, or just communicate. But yeah, that's all part of the. We should probably all train more with the trays to get used to
That's true.
actually.
That's very true.
Um,
How do you feel about uh, switching between the sports while puzzling? Do you think it's something that is good, some refreshment, working on a new section, or do you think that it's more time consuming?
I think it can be good, but it can also be time consuming. I haven't figured out yet myself when it is actually worth it to do it or not.
Right.
Um, we have been talking about it like with Rosa while we were doing the butterfly a couple of times. Do we switch or do we not switch? And then we didn't swap places, but at some point we did swap what we were doing, um, which meant we had the pile of pieces on the wrong side, maybe. Um, but yeah, it's always like something that I don't have like a full answer yet.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, for sure there is a question mark all of the time. Like, is it
yeah.
worth it or not? For like seeing the puzzle from a different angle, for working on a different areas, or
Right,
sticking to
right.
what you're doing.
Well, maybe it will be answered in the future.
I'm sure someone will have enough time to train enough and like do all of the different tasks to be able to tell us, okay, numbers actually tell you that
Oh,
in this
yeah.
situation it's better or worse, right?
Yeah, that's actually, I don't want to take too much of your time, but this is something that I find really curious on how to determine if a puzzle is really hard, like a certain ranking of puzzles,
Mm.
if it's hard, easy, or how do you define an easy puzzle or a hard puzzle? It's
That's hard to answer.
yeah,
I think like in general you can do that by having enough people look like try them and seeing like what the average time is on a first try, like that could be a good like estimate. Like I think if we look at my speed puzzling and just filter by first try and
yeah,
use the average there like to determine like where like a puzzle is in the easy to hard stack rank, that could work as like a first glance how I can tell this puzzle is going to be easy versus fast. um, I don't fully know how I do that, like the guessing. Like
yeah,
this seems hard or
yeah,
easy.
yeah. It will be also interesting to see like if it's possible to actually get some database
Hmm.
sort of ranking, and of course I think that it will be quite beneficial in the future as this sport develops, and this is something that is actually quite developing nowadays, as we can see already. Like this weekend, there is like four different nationals. There is the U.S., there is the Danish, Finnish, and there's probably one more that I don't
UK.
remember. UK,
Yeah.
right? It's crazy.
Yeah, the speed puzzling is growing
Yeah,
every year and a lot, and so I think we are going to see more stats and more numbers and more research into like what is actually like good to do or not. I think you can also see it in just like the times. If you look at worlds, like
yeah,
what times you need to be in top 50, like how they changed in the past like 5 years.
right.
And I think it
Yeah,
will continue to change at least for a few years because so many people are just discovering the sport. So many people are trying new, you know,
yeah,
tiny adjustments just to make themselves better and training and figuring out how
yeah.
to get there.
W- If you compare what was the time for qualification 2 years ago to last year, it's completely another world. You wouldn't qualify with the times from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
just, yeah,
and even the same people, like not just like to keep your ranking. Like I have given up on keeping my ranking, but like even like trying to, stay in the like just lose like just
yeah,
double my ranking, like doing that like still took a lot of work like to keep up kind of, um and yeah, it's growing, but it's really nice to see.
yeah. It's really nice to see. And now going to an extreme.
Hmm.
Do you think that this sport will be in Olympics one day?
Honestly, um like I know it's a dream of many people.
Yeah.
Objectively, I think it would be super cool if
Yeah,
it happened.
definitely.
Realistically, I don't think it's likely to happen though. I think we would have to see, for example, chess at the Olympics first.
That's very true. That's very true. Okay, I will let you be now. Thank you very much for joining
Oh,
over here. It
thank you
was
for
really fun.
inviting me.
Yeah. And now Emilia joined me over here. Emilia is from the table number one. I think that we know each other, right?
Oh, not this way. Come on. I'm
She
leaving
does.
if this is not a serious interview.
Okay, this is serious. This is extremely serious.
For those who are watching don't know, we're married. So that may explain something. Can you please ask me something?
Yeah, of course. So, first of all, what I would like to ask is, how did you feel about this puzzle? Do you feel like this was a puzzle that was good for a team?
Surprisingly, we did our new record with this puzzle.
Really?
So it feels good to be the first champions in teams, but also, so we did the flower puzzle earlier, and that was 35-36, and I think now our time, maybe you have our time, I don't remember what it was, but it was 35 something.
Yeah, it was 35 and 19 seconds.
Yeah.
That is a really great
And
time.
this is like more busy puzzle. I would say this is rather easy puzzle, but this requires a little bit of communication. There's a lot of like smaller sections that you need to build. Um, Most of them are similar color or similar things. So yeah, but we were like we took the I don't know if it showed in the live stream. We took our chairs off like completely. We piled them away. So we didn't want them to be on the way because we also run around the table. So you have like a new angle to see the pieces when you do, so it's not like we're stuck in our corners and are required to build like
Actually, about that, I'm really interested to know if you feel like, oh, uh, I'm interested to know if you feel like it's a, yeah,
I cannot hear you.
one moment, I'll finish this. I'm interested to know if you feel like this going around, do you feel like it's helpful for the team?
Yeah,
It's,
that's the one thing I recommend all the teams to do. I think it's that's something people don't do enough, and it's like a magic trick.
do you feel like getting a fresh area is
No, not a fresh area. You get a fresh angle.
fresh angle?
You see different pieces. You see the pieces that you saw earlier. You know where they go. It's not changing the section you're building in. You're just
Yeah,
changing a place.
yeah, yeah. And what do you think about the communication in your team? Do you feel like a communication was?
Well, we're a quite new team. We haven't really practiced together, so we don't actually talk too much. But we have actually we have the top three from last year individual. So we have all top three of the Finland plus me. Um,
So how many times did you manage to practice together?
twice.
Twice, and that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. And
I mean, Emilia Korhonen is my pair from Worlds for 2 years, so obviously that's a bit different. But as a team, twice.
well, I think that for practicing twice, it's really amazing the time that you've got. And well, you're the champion, the Finnish champions.
Yeah, first ones.
First ones.
Yes.
How does it feel being the Finnish
Quite
champions?
nice. Like last year, I was the last year was the first Finnish champion ever, but there wasn't teams category. So last year I was the first pairs champion. So I'm happy now to also that I can call myself the first teams champion.
Yeah, that's always nice. And congratulations for that.
Yeah, thank you. But now I'm gonna go and
Yeah,
drink some water.
yeah, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, and we're back here with Veronica.
Hello.
She was on table number 7. And how
Yeah.
was it?
It was fun. It was a bit of a chaotic puzzle, like lots of details and a bit of a hard sort, but we managed.
Yeah,
We had a good time.
that's really great. How
Yeah.
did you, what was the dynamic in the team? Do you feel like were able to communicate with each other?
Yeah, we were just kind of saying out loud what we wanted to do and what we wanted to work on, and yeah, when with a chaotic puzzle like that, you just have to be verbal about what you're looking at and looking for, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I think that the communication in this type of puzzle is fundamental,
yeah.
very, very important. And did you actually use trays?
Yeah, we did. So we sorted onto the trays. So we did like the border on one tray, and I just sorted whatever I felt like I could pick out onto other trays, and then it was like easy to hand it off to each other afterwards. So and also like with some of the stuff, we just like wasn't sure where things were going, but like okay, all of these are kind of green or kind of pink, so they were just left on each tray, and we could just pass them on to each other. But yeah,
Yeah,
we were hoping for something that was like a lot easier to sort, so there wouldn't be more pieces left on the table. But it was just like a sea of pieces, so it was a
yeah,
bit chaotic. So at one point we had to just kind of remove all of the pieces to the sides and get like the sections in place and have a bit of a better picture of what connects where. So it was a lot of moving sections around.
yeah. I think. I actually have no idea. You will be able to see it in the ranking in the website. Yeah, so basically, I think that one of the key points in this type of puzzle is to be able um, to communicate, for example, choosing a color that
Yeah,
each team member will take, and then they will focus on that color. And one of these,
yeah.
uh, at least what popped into my eye, was the chocolate in the middle.
Yeah,
The
but
so
also like the I eventually did the chocolate in the middle. Like I started with like the balls that were kind of both light brown and dark brown, because that
yeah,
was like easier to pick out. But the rest of it, it wasn't as easy to find all the pieces that connected to it. But yeah, that was fairly easy, I would say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Especially like whatever was left when I found a piece, I knew exactly where it was going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's super cool.
But I started with the sky. So I just did the sky border, and then I just started filling it in and like doing all those cotton candy trees and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, did you switch places while puzzling?
We did towards the end. So when we were just like filling in all the blanks, it was started to slow down a bit. So we were like, okay, we should maybe switch like the with our neighbor. So we all switched, and then pieces were just flying in again. So that was really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And do you think that in general, when teams are puzzling together, is it good to switch
I
places?
think it is, because usually what happens is like pieces will be on the left and the right side of the puzzle, and you are kind of only looking at the pieces that are on the right side of the table. So when you switch, you see all these new pieces, and you find the pieces that you have been missing on your side, and you might see where stuff goes more easily than the person who has been looking at them for 30, 40, 50 minutes already.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I think it's really good to switch, and we should probably have switched a bit earlier than what we did, but
right.
it's sometimes hard to know. But as soon as you feel like the pace is starting to drop, you should consider just switching with the person to your left or right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And the other part that I'm wondering, how was the space management? How?
Horrible. No, because it wasn't that easy to sort. We didn't end up with like piles and a lot of free space on the table. So it was kind of like we just had to make space when we decided to move the sections around. Because I was doing the sky, but at the bottom of the table, so I just had to move that up. So then we just had to like get rid of some pieces. Then the bottom part was being done upside down on the other side of the table, so I also had to like move and flip that around. So it was a lot of repositioning. But I think that also can work if you have someone that can move the sections without breaking everything.
Yeah, that sounds pretty risky, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say.
I did a few risky moves, but it worked.
That's great. Yeah, I think that. Did you have pieces in the middle of the puzzle?
Yeah, we did at first because we didn't know what to do with the pieces, so they were just kind of all laying there. So at the point where I started like moving things around, we also then just like pushed all the leftover pieces out to the left and right side of the puzzle, so that we could kind of start connecting things. And yeah, so at that point the space management was a bit better when we actually had to make room for stuff.
Yeah, that's. I think that space management is extremely important
Yeah, but
in
also
this kind of.
for a puzzle like this, it can be really hard because it's not that easy to sort everything up front.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. But it was your first time meeting this team. You
Yeah,
haven't seen the team
yeah.
before.
It was just a random team of foreigners coming here to Finland. So yeah, none of us has puzzled together before. We did a practice round earlier today during the second pairs qualifier. Yeah, so we have only done one puzzle before this, so we were pretty happy with how it went.
And I think it went great.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what place we got. Think someone said 10th. I'm not sure.
Let's see. We can
I
actually.
can look it up on my phone. Um,
I
yeah,
would.
10th.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Nice. The
Mm,
top 10.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, this is pretty good for the first time and meeting
yeah,
up. And I think
absolutely.
this is really nice that you can just meet new people and just go for it together and have fun together.
Yeah,
Like,
because that's like the whole point with coming here. Like for us, none of us can actually place and win, but we're here. We might as well join in all the groups. So I've also been in pairs with some random person I've never met before, and we had a really good day today. So we
yeah.
were surprised by how well we did. So that was really fun.
What do you think about the international guests in nationals in other
I think it's
countries?
really fun because like there's not that many competitions available for us to do. So especially like traveling around the neighboring countries and getting some more competition, I think that's a really good thing. And also like it's a very social event. But also like of course like for me being in a region, I even if I was the best person here today, I wouldn't want to be the Finnish champion because I'm not a Finnish person. So
Yeah, yeah,
having like rules that most of the countries do, like you have to be either a Finn or living in the country for this many years. I think here it's just
it
the
just being
Finns.
just the Finns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but for us in Norway, we say that if you've lived there for 5 years or more, then you are considered a Norwegian and you can get on the podium. So the countries are doing it a bit different from place to place, but most of them do allow international participants. So
yeah, and I think that in a certain point it will be aligned between all the countries. That's what I believe.
yeah, I mean we will figure out what is the best way to do it, what's the best way to have the rules, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And also eventually, like if the sport grows enough, then there might be more restrictions. Like in Sweden, they have a restriction on how many spots foreigners can take. Uh, so that will probably be the way to go eventually when we fill our own seats.
Oh yeah.
Because for now, like we had room for more people, we didn't kind of sell out. So for us in Norway, there's no problem having a few extra people coming over to join us.
Yeah, and what about the Nordics? Do you want to say a few words about that one?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Nordics. We've been planning it since I don't know, since like the end of summer probably. So that's gonna be really fun. And for that one, there are like two different competitions that many of you probably already know. So we have like the official Nordic Championship, and in that one it's all only Nordic countries. But we also decided to have an open championship because, of course, when you have a Nordic Championship, there's only going to be this many people from each country rather than Sweden, so it's not going to be a lot of people. So then we have also open championships so that more people can participate and compete. So that's going to be really fun.
The way that there is actually two different kind of categories.
Mm.
There is the open and the closed ones,
Yeah.
where the closed ones are some representative, like it's limited to
Yeah.
some.
So each of the Nordic countries gets uh, their own spots, and if those don't fill up, for example, if the Norwegian spots aren't full, then the remaining uh, tables will not be distributed to anyone else. So for individual, for example, we each get 25 tables each. And of course, from Iceland, they aren't that many speed puzzlers yet, so of course there's going to be some empty tables from them. But the Swedes won't fill up those seats because they only get their 25 tables. But for the Open Championship, there kind of isn't a limit in the same way. We did put a limit at first, so I think it's still 1 week before the limitations end.
Yeah,
So that way we can make sure that all the other countries also can have some time to plan and make the decision if they want to go. Because if it was open from the beginning, then it would just fill up with 100 Swedes and none
yeah,
of the rest of us. So we do have like quotas that are kind of temporary quotas.
yeah, yeah.
So when next week when we open it, like if the Norwegian spots hasn't been filled yet, then whoever is next on the waiting list, then they will get that spot.
Right. And one of the things that is very well, I think that it will go towards that kind of structure in the world.
Yeah, I
That
believe so too.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then the top rankers of each country will actually
Yeah,
will be able to represent their country and so
yeah,
on.
because there will be a time where like it's gonna be too many participants, and we're gonna have to like set a stricter limit. And for now, like it doesn't fill up that quickly, so you don't need to have like the country limitations. But eventually, like there will be a lot of people from a few countries. Like we already seen more than 100 participants from multiple countries. So it's gonna be interesting to see how will be the best way to kind of deal with that. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very, very much
Yeah.
for joining over here to the commentary. And
Thank you.
yeah. Um,